welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Purity. Before I begin, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. Right now we are at 1,000 plus subscribers, and I'm so excited for all of you who have subscribed to my channel, all of you who watch my videos, all of you who comment and like. I am so happy for you subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe to my videos. My videos are really nice, fun, and easy to follow through the tutorials. And today I'm crocheting this beautiful cardigan. It's pink. I used pink and red yarn. That's how I got this color. I used thin yarn, and this is how our cardigan looks. It's a very short cardigan. It's quite sassy, and this is how the back looks. And I put ribbing here and all around here that goes all the way to the back like that. So kindly remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and if you love this video, give it a thumbs up. And I love reading your comments, so see you at the comment section. And to make this cardigan, I used the bean stitch. It's a very simple tutorial, I promise you. And let's get started with the tutorial. This is how our close-up of the cardigan looks, and we will start crocheting from the back panel, followed by these two identical front panels. Then do the sleeves, ribbing at the sleeves, and then ribbing at the front panels. All you need for this cardigan is your shoulder to shoulder measurements plus 3 inches, because this stitch quite freezes, so add 3 inches to your shoulder to shoulder measurement. So let's get started with the tutorial. I am using thin yarn, and this is Seagull. This is 100% acrylic yarn, and this is Kenyan brand yarn. We are going to combine the two colors together. A 4.5 mm hook, this is what we'll use for crocheting. A 2.5 mm hook for joining. You can use a darning needle instead. A tape measure, stitch marker, and a pair of scissors. This is all you need for this project. So to begin, as I said, I'm doubling my yarn. And to begin, we'll make a slip knot. This is how I make my slip knot. And then we will chain as long as the shoulder to shoulder measurements is. As for me, I'm chaining up to 18 inches, and that is 85 chains. So I'll meet you once you're done with the shoulder to shoulder measurements chain. And please do not tighten your chains, make them quite loose. I am done, and this is 18 inches. And to begin on the bean stitch, we will skip the first stitch from the hook, go to the second stitch and make a single crochet like this, yarn over, go to the same space, and now you have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all the 4, and please make sure your work is quite loose, so it will be easier for you to pull through all the 4 loops. Then you chain 1, skip the next stitch, go to the next one, make a single crochet like this, yarn over, go into the same space, yarn over. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over all the 4, then you chain 1, skip the next stitch, go to the next one, skip this stitch, go to the next stitch, make a single crochet, yarn over, go in the same space. You have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over all the 4, then you chain 1. So this is how you're going to make all these bean stitches across all the stitches that you have. Please remember to always skip 1 and chain 1 at the end of a bean stitch and skip 1 to begin a new bean stitch. So I'll meet you once you have all your bean stitches across all the stitches that you have. This is how my work looks, and this is row 1 of the bean stitch. To begin row 2, you will chain 2. I had already chained 1 because we always close the bean stitch by chaining 1. So chain 1 and another one, so that is 2. Turn your work, and we have these 2 small spaces on our bean stitch. These 2 small spaces, this one and this one. So we'll always work on this first small space. Go in there, make a single crochet, yarn over. Remember, we are working on the first small space. Go in again, and you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, chain 1. Then we go to the next bean stitch, which is this first small space where we work. Skip this bean stitch, then just after the bean stitch there's a small space, and that's where we work bean stitches. So we're always starting by a single crochet, single crochet, then you yarn over, go in, you'll have 4 loops on your hook, and then you chain 1. So that's how we do the bean stitch, and we're doing that across all the bean stitches that you have, and I'll meet you at the end of this first row. I'm done, and this is how my row 1 looks, and this is how we create the bean stitch. To begin row 2, you will chain 2, turn your work, and continue with the same pattern, which is go in the first small space just after the bean stitch, put a double crochet yarn over, and you have 4 loops in your hook, then you chain 1, the same thing you've been doing, and that is the pattern. We'll work like that until you get to the height where you want your cardigan to reach. So as for me, I went ahead and did up to 17 inches. That is the length of the cardigan, but remember you can do a longer cardigan or a shorter one. So that is how we create the bean stitch, and we are working like that until you get to the length where you want your cardigan to reach. That is from the shoulders all the way to the back, and mine reached to my waist, which is 17 inches. So I'll meet you once you're done so that we start working on the front panels. I am done with my back panel, and this is how it looks. This is a very beautiful stitch, and the length is 17 inches as I said. And now we want to start working on the front panels. So once you're done, please do not cut off your yarn. You'll fold your garment into 2 like this. That is the first half. Then we will fold it again into the second half, like that. And make sure your work is well aligned, because we want to put stitch markers at the end here. At this first fold, we put 1 stitch marker, and then in the inner side we'll also put a second stitch marker, making sure they're in the same position like this. And then you'll unfold your work, and this is how it looks. That is how we create the front panels measurements without really counting and doing all the hard work. So as I said, do not cut off your yarn. And now we want to start working on the front panels using the same stitch, which is the bean stitch, but now we will work up to where the first stitch marker reaches, and that's where we will turn from. Okay, so I did the bean stitches and now I'm on the first stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker, put your last bean stitch there, and then chain one more chain and turn your work, as from now we will be turning from here, and we'll continue with bean stitches until you get to a length of 17 inches, which is the exact length of your back panel. Okay, so I'll meet you once you're done with your first front panel. So this is how your work will look, and as I said, we will work until it reaches the length of your back measurements, which is 17 inches. So continue the back with your bean stitches until you get to 17 inches. Then you'll reattach your yarn on the other side, do bean stitches until you get to 17 inches, and I'll meet you once you're done with your two front panels. So I'm done with my front panels, and I went ahead and did one of the sleeves. I will show you how we make this sleeve. But to do that, make sure you have measurements of your upper arm plus 1 inch. And this is how my sleeve looks. I used the bean stitches, and on the wrist area I did front posts and back posts. So take your upper arm measurements plus 1 inch because the bean stitch does not stretch much. And this is how my sleeve looks. It's 19 inches starting from the wrist area all the way. It's 19 inches, but minus the wrist area it is 17 inches. So let's start working on this sleeve. So you'll make a slip knot. I'm hoping you have your sleeve measurements. Mine is 13 inches, so I'm making my slip knot, and then I will do chains. I'm chaining as long as 13 inches. That is the length of, the width round my arm. Okay, it is 13 inches. So take measurements around your upper arm, and that's how long you will chain. I am done. As I said, this is 13 inches. And then we will start working on the bean stitch. Skip the first stitch, go to the second stitch, make a single crochet, and then you'll yarn over and finish up the bean stitch just the same way we have been working with the back panel and the 2 front panels. Is the same way we will be working on this sleeve, but now it's shorter. So work like that, and I'll meet you at the end of this first row. And please remember, when you're first starting to create the bean stitch, you skip the next stitch first. Okay, so once you're done with this bean stitch, you chain 1, then you skip the next stitch. Okay, that is how you create the bean stitches. So I'll meet you at the end of this first row. I am done with row 1, and to begin row 2, we always chain 2. So I had already chained 1 to close off the bean stitch, so chain 1 more, turn your work, and we are creating bean stitches. As I said, you go to the first small space just after the bean stitch, and then you create another bean stitch, and we will work like that until you get to the length where you want your cardigan to reach. So I want a long sleeved cardigan, so I went all the way up to 17 inches. That is minus the 2 inches of the ribbing. So take measurements up to where you want your cardigan to reach minus 2 inches where you'll have your ribbing. Okay, so we are working up to 17 inches, then we'll add 2 more inches, which will be the ribbing at the wrist area. So I'll meet you once you're done with your sleeve, then I will show you how we work on the ribbing at the wrist area. So this is how the ribbing at the wrist area looks, and we want to create it on this sleeve that we were making. As I said, the sleeve is 17 inches long minus the ribbing. So if we add the ribbing, it will be 19 inches. So my ribbing is always 2 inches long. So that is 17 inches. And to start working on the ribbing, I'm hoping you did not cut off your yarn. We are doing double crochets all round, so you will chain 2, and then we'll go in every bean stitch and make a double crochet. The same place we were making the first bean stitches, that's where we make double crochet, in the same space. So just after the bean stitch, that first small space is where we're going in and making a double crochet, and we'll make double crochets up to the end, and I'll meet you once you are done so that we start doing front posts and back posts. So this is how your work will look. We just did a row of double crochets and it looks like that. So to begin, on the front post and back posts, chain 2, turn your work and we are starting with the front post. So yarn over, go in front of that first double crochet like that and do a front post. That's how we do a front post. Yarn over, the second stitch is a back post, so go in the back of that second double crochet and do a back post like this, and we are working with front post and back post all through, so we alternate between front post and back post until you get to the end. So I'm at the end of first row, which is the front post and back post. To begin, on the second row, you will chain 2, so I'm just finishing up on this last front posts. So chain 2, turn your work, and we are still doing front post and back post. Where there was a front post, we will put a front post, and where there is a back post, we will put a back post. Okay, so right now it's much easier because the front post and back post are much easier to see. So we are working with front post and back posts all the way, and I did a total of 5 rows. Okay, so go ahead and do 5 rows, and that's how you create the ribbing at the wrist area. Go ahead and make the other sleeve. So I'll meet you when you have a pair of sleeve and 2 front panels and 1 back panel. So I'll meet you once we are joining everything together. I'm hoping you really understand this tutorial, and I will see you at the comment sections, okay? So this is how the ribbing looks. You see, it's quite stretchy. As I said, I went ahead and did 5 rows, okay? You can do more rows if you want to, remember that. So I'll meet you once you're done. I'm done with my work, and this is how it looks. This is how the ribbing looks. It's quite stretchy and it's really nice. Go ahead and work on the other sleeve. Make sure it's of the same length and same width, and then we will join everything together. Once you have your 2 identical sleeves, we will join it to the front panels and back panel garment. Okay, so I'll meet you once we're joining everything together. Okay, to join everything together, you have to place your garment like this. That is the front panel and back panel garment. Then we will fold your sleeve into 2 like this. Make sure it is well aligned. Take your stitch marker and put it at the outer part of your sleeve like this. Once it's folded, you put it here. And then bring it here where we joined the front panel from on the first row. So you will join it here on the first row where we started our front panel, okay? And then you will unfold it and make sure it is well aligned. Make sure it's in the middle. That's how we find the middle of our sleeve. And then we are going to join this together using single crochets. That's how we easily join the sleeve to the garment. And we are using a 2.5 mm hook to join. So insert your hook and reattach your yarn, and then we will join together using single crochets. Okay, so join together using single crochets, and also do the same thing to the other sleeve. And this is how we do the single crochets. So I'll meet you at the end when you're done joining. I am done joining, and this is how it looks. So this is our wrong side. So go ahead, and the right side looks like this, okay? So go ahead and also join the other sleeve together the same way I showed you this first one, and then we will join the rest of the garment together. Remember to always join on the wrong side, okay? So I'll meet you once you have your whole garment joined together, and always work on the wrong side. So this is how my garment looks. Everything is joined in, and I used single crochets and a 2.5 mm hook, and this is how my work looks. And now we will work on the ribbing all around the front panels and the lower part of our garment, okay? And we will start with the lower part. Reattach your yarn, and we're just going in by making double crochets all round, and this is just the lower part of your garment, okay? So we're just making double crochets in each bean stitch first, and then I will meet you once you're done doing the double crochets. I am done with row 1 of double crochets, and now we will work with front post and back post the same way we worked with the ribbing at the wrist area, okay? So you'll chain 2, turn your work, and we are doing front posts and back posts the same way we did with the wrist area. So we are alternating between front post and back post all through, and I'll meet you once you're done with this first row. And my cue on this ribbing, we did only 5 rows of front posts and back posts. So this is how my work looks. This is just the first row of front posts and back posts, and I'm going ahead to do 5 rows. So to begin a new row, always chain 2, then turn your work, and wherever there's a front post, we will put a front post. Wherever there's a back post, we will put a back post. So that is the pattern, and I did only 5 rows. And once you're done, you'll go ahead on the front panel side. First you'll do a row of double crochets, then you'll do a row of front post and back post. And on the front panel side, I went ahead and did 5 rows too. So that's how we do the ribbing on the lower part of your garment and the front panels side. Okay, so I'll meet you once you have your garment done. So this is how my outfit turned out. It's so pretty and nice. I'm hoping you really enjoyed this tutorial and it's quite easy to follow through. Thank you for watching my video. Please remember to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and also remember to comment. I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.